Assalamu alaikum, welcome to The Awaited, our show that is dedicated to coming to know the Imam of our time, alayhi salam, better. I'm Rebecca Masterton, and my guest is someone who you all know, Sister Zahra Al-Alawi, and today we're talking about the status of women in relation to the Imam, alayhi salam. What will their role be when the Imam reappears, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thanks for giving us your time on the show as well.
No problem.
You've got a lot of experience talking about issues related to women, and often when we hear about the signs of the coming of the Imam, we're thinking of often the role that men take in the army, and although we know some of them will be women. But just looking at, it's quite interesting to think about how his role in relation to the status of women as well. And perhaps is it possible to give us an idea of what the status of women was in pre-Islamic Arabia and what it is now, and how he will reform the status of women?
Walaikum assalam, and thanks for having me on the show. You're absolutely right. When we talk about Imam Mahdi and we talk about his reappearance, we often talk about men, the roles of men, and the events the signs of his reappearance. It's always related to men. We hardly speak about the women. In fact, there's little information about the roles of women. But in our everyday life, if women don't put one of their goals to be the officials of Imam Mahdi, or to assist Imam Mahdi in his reappearance, is not put on our priority list. And I think if more women think about the roles and the status of women, especially at the advent of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, ajallah ta'ala farja, then we will prosper in our life. To fully understand the status or the reform that Imam Mahdi will bring to women and the roles that women will have when Imam Mahdi reappears, we have to analyze the status of women in pre-Islamic Arabia, the reform that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought, and then the current status of women, and then obviously the reform that Imam Mahdi will bring. If you look at pre-Islamic Arabia, women had no rights at all. They didn't have a role, they didn't have a status. Women were seen as an embarrassment to a family. As we know that when a female or a newborn girl was born, it was seen as an embarrassment to the family. Their faces were blackened, and they were seen. She was seen as an embarrassment. She's not going to bring anything to the family. She's not going to assist the family. Yeah. There's nothing that she can bring. And women had no rights to education. They had no rights to education. They had no rights at all as human beings. They weren't considered as a human being in a sense. Yeah. So we see when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came, he gave rights to women. It's very interesting because the rights that he gave to women is the same rights that Prophet Muhammad, Imam Mahdi ajallah ta'ala farja is going to bring to women. For example, when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if we read about the battles that he participated in and that he led, you'll see that women were there assisting Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were treating the injured. They were there for medical assistance. So you see that's the same thing. That's the role of women when Imam Mahdi comes. Yeah. They're going to assist the men in the battlefield as well. So you see that he gave rights and responsibilities. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave rights and responsibilities to women, which were corresponding with the rights and responsibilities of men as well. So you see, it's quite interesting actually, because when you talk about Islamic history, everyone always talks about the companions, the male companions of the Prophet. Yeah. They talk about how the males and how they structured the religion and they made the religion, spread the religion. But there were thousands of women who spread the religion as well. And Islam is based on the participation and the roles of women as well. Yeah. It's quite interesting because these same women will come back and assist Imam Mahdi as well, which we'll speak about later on. But so Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave so much rights to women. They had the rights to education, they had the rights to spread the religion. They were the envoys of spreading the religion, lectures. The majority of our hadiths are narrated by women, and he gave the rights of women. So now when you come to in today's age, you see that the status of women is once again declining. Yeah. We're seen as a commodity. You just open the television and you see how females are sexualized. Yeah. We're once again seen as sexual figures. And just yesterday I switched on the television and there was a comedy show and it was just talking about women and their sexuality. That's all. Wow. So I'm thinking we're not being considered for our intellect no more. And you see that the status of women is once again declining. So when Imam Mahdi comes, he's going to restore the status of women. and he's going to give women positions in his army. Women are going to be his officials. They're going to assist him in his revolution. So once again, women will be, they're going to be the sole figures of spreading, participating in spreading the religion of Islam, the correct religion of Islam, bringing back justice. So you see, once again, he's going to restore the status of women, and he's going to make them the officials.
Inshallah. I mean, we can see as well that women are, as they were, as you say, on the battlefield, on the front line, which also shows that women must have had, obviously, intelligence. They were respected, they were trusted as well, to participate. They weren't mocked or ridiculed. I mean, as you say today, it is quite tragic what has happened to women, where it's got very ruthless, where women sort of feel that in order to be loved, not even be loved, in order to work their way up the career ladder, they have to look a certain way, and they have to kind of be put up with being treated in a certain way. And once again, inshallah, there's going to be, a change or a restoration, we could say, of this, the role that women are playing. Once again, they're going to be, women of intelligence.
Inshallah.
And also, it must mean that they should be able to understand his commands, as in, if he's given them commands, they can execute those commands perfectly, which means that they should be well trained as well, inshallah.
That's true.
I mean, also just looking at, we know that this is a kind of other ironic thing where people say that the situation of women, perhaps since industrial times, has improved. But there are a lot of narrations that are talking about how things will become very difficult for women. What will the situation of women be just before the reappearance of the Imam?
As we said, the situation of women is declining as we see the status of women. We're seen as, we are being sexualized and seen as a commodity. But just before the reappearance of Imam Mahdi, we always hear about the signs of his reappearance. We hear about the signs. But it's interesting because there's some narrations that specifically talk about the status of women, and that will be the sign of the reappearance of Imam Mahdi. As we know that poverty will spread. In the world there'll be a lot of poverty, that's one of the signs of the reappearance of Imam Mahdi. There's a specific hadith which mentions that the Imam Mahdi will not appear until men will begin selling their daughters for food supplies. So there'll be so much poverty that men will begin giving up their daughters, and that's what happened in pre-Islamic Arabia. They were giving up their daughters and selling their daughters. So once again, there's a hadith which says that the Mahdi will not reappear until men begin to sell their daughters for food supplies. And they say at that situation and that circumstance that the Imam Mahdi will reappear. So you see, once again, women will be seen as, there'll be so much poverty, so much injustice that women will just be seen as on the side. They don't have a status, and men will be the individuals which have status and will be the individuals. So when the Imam Mahdi reappears, then women will be in such a need that when Imam Mahdi reappears, he will once again give the status back to women.
Inshallah. I think that's true, that you can see, I remember seeing a program on how it was actually in Africa, and it was a non-Muslim family, and how the status of the daughters in that family. There was one daughter where her father literally wanted to sort of sell her in order to gain a certain amount of cattle and also a certain amount of drink. And she was trying to kind of rebel against this whole arrangement, and she ran away and she disappeared. Like, her mother helped her to escape, but she ran away, and they recorded this whole conversation going on between the mother and the father. The father saying, "My daughter is no good. I can't get anything from her. I mean, she's not going to bring me the cattle. She's not going to bring me the alcohol. So, what use is she to me?" And then we can see other countries where, as you say, because of starvation and hunger. I mean, we get these stories in the news of different countries where, very young girls are married off. But often people don't understand that is often because the family is desperate, and they're literally starving, and someone has come along and said, I'll give you a certain amount dowry, and you can marry your daughter to me. So we can see how, I mean, it's pretty terrible. Even now.
You remind me of something. There's a documentary actually in India. It's about India. So I don't know if you've seen it before. It says that there's parts of there's places in India where ultra scans are actually banned because women, before having the child, they see the ultra scan, and when the results come as a girl, they actually kill it. And it was actually I can't remember the exact name, but everyone should watch it because it just reminds you of pre-Islamic Arabia and how women had no status, and the same is happening. So they interviewed some families. They said, why are you why are you saddened when the news comes that you're having a girl? And they said, well, she's not going to do anything for us. She can't assist the family. She can't bring anything. She's not going to bring the money in. So whereas a boy will assist the family, and so you see that it is happening today. In this generation, we talk about pre-Islamic Arabia like we're shocked that women or families were saddened to have a girl, but it still happens today. And that's why we see when Imam Mahdi comes in, the status of woman gets elevated, that they will assist their families, they will assist the Imam himself, let alone their families.
Assisting the Ahlul Bayt.
Assisting the Ahlul Bayt.
And then, of course, looking at the women who have been, who will be assisting the Imam, inshallah. We know that some of the 313 will be women. What kinds of work will they be doing for the Imam? Or obviously, I don't know. This is another thing that I'm not sure about, whether it's women who will be born at that time or it's women who will be raised at that time, because we have the dua where we say du'at, like raise my, if I'm not alive when the Imam comes, then raise me from my grave. So I don't know if it's women today who could be the companions of the Imam, or whether it's women in that time who will be the companions.
That's very interesting you say that, because there's different narrations about the amount of women, first of all, and who the women will be. So first of all, about women, the hadith tell us that it's women alive today. There's women obviously that haven't been born that will assist the Imam, and it's women that have already died. And the hadith specifically mention some of the women that will be resurrected to assist the Imam. So there's specific names mentioned as well, like some women which will be, so we know who they are, which will assist the Imam, and then there's some that we don't know who they are. And Imam Hamad al-Baqir said that Imam Mahdi Ajallah Ta'ala Faraja will have 313 male officials, and then he'll have 50 female officials. So, but there's different narrations. There's narrations which say there's going to be 400 women who will assist the Imam. But these 400 have been said that they will just assist in medical treatment. So in terms of health and medical treatment, there's other hadith which say it's only 13 individuals, 13 females which will assist the Imams. So it will assist the Imam. So these 13, in terms of that narration, people say that these will assist. They'll be the first people to assist the Imam. So they'll assist him in his uprising, and then more will join after his uprising. And then there's another narration which says 7,800 females will assist the Imam. So in terms of that narration, people say that these women will assist after the uprising. So they'll have numerous activities as well, not just assisting in terms of medical treatment. So there's different narrations about the amount of females. But even the men, there's 313 men. But these are his officials. So you have to remember that these are his officials. There'll be thousands of men and women in his army. But these are his officials, so 313, and then there's some amount of women. But there'll be thousands of people in the assisting the Imam in his army. But these are the main officials in his army. And then you talk about being resurrected. There's actually a narration by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It says that Isa ibn Maryam will descend and to help the Imam, and he'll descend amidst 7,800 women, and these women will be the best inhabitants on earth, and these will be the women that and some of them will be women that have been resurrected. So the best from the past as well. So they're the best from the past. So you have women joining the Imam from the present, the past, and obviously well, now there may be some women that will assist the imam that haven't been born. So
that makes us probably think differently and feel differently, because that means anyone watching this program we don't know what our role will be, because sometimes you think, okay, for this period of time that I'm alive, I'll do like whatever I can, I'll do my best, and maybe for some women it's like raising charity for something. Other women it's setting up education systems to raise up the next generation, and then you think, okay, I've done my best, but we don't know that maybe out of all that, some people could be, if they've shown that in this life how they have been good for the Ahl Bayt alayhim salam, good for the cause. Then they can be.
It can be. We don't know who's going to assist the imam, and it's all about us striving to do the best that we can, because that's like I said, that should be our priority, that should be our aims. But it's not. In this generation, ask people, do you know anything about the army of the imam? Do you know about the imam, his reappearance? They don't know much about it, and they don't strive to become the best individuals so they can assist the imams. And there's also a ayah in the Holy Quran, it's Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 148, and it's in regards to the individuals that will assist the imam. It says, no matter where you are, Allah will gather you, and Allah is capable of all things.
Right.
So in terms of that, Imam al-Baqarah speaks about this ayah, and he says that the individuals that will assist the imam, Allah will gather them without any previous arrangement. So they haven't arranged with the imam previously. He will gather them, and like clustering clouds in the sky. So they'll come all together, and they'll come together in between the black stone of Kaaba and the Maqam Ibrahim.
Wow.
And there they'll pay the allegiance to Imam, and then the Imam will reappear, and they will become the officials of the Imam. So that's what I'm talking about, the uprising. There are a certain amount of women that will be there in his uprising, and there's women that will join later on as well.
Inshallah. I think that's, we've just got a few minutes to break, but I think that's a good point that you make about knowing the Imam, alayhi salam, because I think, Ajala Faraj Sharif, because I think also, even when, if you are growing up within the deen, or you're converted to the deen, sometimes you might find that he hasn't been mentioned very much. Like, people might have not heard about him much in their lives, or they don't really understand much about him, and of course that means that the women of this ummah are going to have a much more kind of limited idea about what their role could be. I mean, we've had people where they think that the duties of the woman are for this life. For example, the husband will be focusing on her duties as his wife, but actually it would be an interesting thought for someone to think that maybe this woman who I'm married to again could be chosen by the imam, inshallah. But we have to prepare ourselves. I think you're so right that we are very unprepared.
We're unprepared. And the thing is, when we talk about the imam and his revolution, it's always as if the men are the only people that are going to assist the imam. You see now the majority of scholars are men, the majority of people that give lectures are men, and majority of people that serve the religion and are envoys to the religion are men, as if the men are the only species, or not species, the only sex that should spread the religion. But in fact, that when the imam reappears, a big portion of his officials, the individuals that will assist him in his mission, are going to be women. So why don't we educate the women in this generation? Why don't we push them forward and make them worthy individuals who are intelligent and have education, and are individuals that they will be proud for them to be the individuals which assist the imam.
Inshallah. I think we need to really start from instilling confidence in the girls, all sort of as they grow up to become adults, inshallah, so that by the time we are ready. And I think now when we look at a lot of the pressures, a lot of the trends that are out there in society, we find quite a lot of Muslim women and girls kind of doing a half-half to try to cover both worlds.
Yeah.
So sort of, and I think, you know, we really need to. It's not easy, but to try to decide, you know, do I want this dunya or do I want the akhirah? You know?
Exactly.
And to say no, I'm not going to lose anything by choosing the akhirah. Really.
Exactly.
So I think some women sort of have this 50-50 approach, just to think, well, you know, I'll keep a little bit of the dunya just in case.
Yeah.
But it has to be a kind of as committed as we can, inshallah.
You know, there was women in the times of the imams which gave lectures in front of the imams as well, and imams listened to them. There's narrations which there's female companions as well, and these are never things we usually hear. You know, it was always, you know, it's a taboo for a woman to do that sort of job. But then in the time of the imam, the Prophet had female companions, the imams had female companions, and there was actually narrations which the imam sat down and they listened to female giving lectures. So at the same time, let me just before, many people haven't heard that narration, but there's a narration that Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, there's a woman called Khalid who had her arms amputated because she was serving the religion. So when she came, the imam said, you know, let's listen what she had to say, and she gave a speech in front of the Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. That's one of them, Hababa al-Walibiyya. She was a companion of 8 imams.
Wow.
So Imam Ali, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein, Imam Bakr, Imam al-Sadiq, Imam al-Kadhim, and Imam al-Rida. That's 8 imams. She was she was the companion. So she assisted in religion as well. These women we hardly hear about because we don't, but there are female companions and females which played a huge position in spreading religion.
Inshallah, in the second half of the show, we can look a little bit more into their lives and what they did, and that will, inshallah, give us a better idea of what the role of women will be, inshallah, with the reappearance of the Imam Ajal Sharif. Thank you very much, and we are going to go to break now. Inshallah, we'll see you again afterwards.